Hello, and welcome to another episode of Glorious Life on Wheels. Today, I want to talk with you about what I believe will be the profound negative impact the recent budget bill that was voted on is going to have on nomads and anyone living in a vehicle, whether it's an RV, van, car. In fact, I believe within the next few months and into next year, nomads are going to be experiencing difficulties unlike any they have ever faced. But you know what? Come on and stay tuned, and I will tell you exactly why I feel this way. And if you agree with me, let me know in the comments. But if you disagree with me, also let me know down in the comments. I'm going to first need to give you a little bit of background information to put things in context so what I'm going to share with you makes sense. So hang with me. I will connect the dots and ultimately, hopefully, make it make sense. The Department of Housing and Urban Development, which is also known as HUD, is the agency within the government that oversees subsidized housing programs. One of the main programs is called the Section 8 voucher program. There are literally millions and millions of people receiving assistance with their rent through the Section 8 voucher program. What is actually a voucher is a document that simply says that the person holding it is participating or eligible to participate in the Section 8 program. They then take that to a potential landlord, and the landlord knows that they will be receiving a portion of their rent directly from the government or the housing authority. Based on the new budget, through my research, I found that tens, and I mean tens of billions of dollars is projected to be cut from the HUD budget. Basically, HUD is going to be decimated. And of that money, at least, I think it's $26 billion is going to be cut from the Section 8 voucher program. Now, if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. But this is what I found in my research. Additional changes that are going to happen to the Section 8 voucher program are going to result in an anticipated at least 2.3 million people. Again, let me repeat that. 2.3, not thousand, million people are anticipated to be cut from Section 8 vouchers. One of the ways that they're going to implement the cuts to individuals from the Section 8 voucher program is they're implementing what's called a 2-year cap. Unless you're a senior or disabled, you're going to be limited to 2 years being on the program. Now, I don't have a problem with requiring people to work and earn money and pay their own rent. What I am concerned about, though, is if they're going to change the guidelines for what qualifies to be disabled. And I also think that perhaps it should be graduated. In other words, as you get a job and start earning money, your subsidy starts decreasing. And there's a direct relationship between how much your pay increases and how much your Section 8 decreases over a period of time. Also, I think for mothers of young children who need childcare, there needs to be some consideration or some means to assist them with childcare so they can work, because that's often one of the things preventing single moms or single dads from working. Back to the topic at hand. Typically, in the voucher program, a participant pays about 30% of their income towards rent. So if they're not working, they may pay zero if they're in a unit that's $3,000 a month, which is not out of the ordinary for California. Or let's say it's a mom and she's working part-time, but she's earning about $1,000 a month. Well, she would pay $300 a month for her $3,000 unit, and the housing authority would pay the balance. I don't know if this is going to work so anyone who's already been on for 2 years is going to be kicked off, or whether the 2 years starts now. I haven't been able to determine that. But either way, let me ask you this. How many people do you think who may have very low skills, who are going into a very competitive job market, are going to be able to earn enough to pay $3,000 a month rent, or even $2,000 a month rent, which is at least what you'd pay for a one-bedroom, just a one-bedroom in California, in certain areas particularly. So what do you think is going to happen to all of those people? We're talking about millions. 2.3 million are projected to be kicked off the program. What do you think is going to happen to those people? Well, I predict a good percentage of those individuals, I'm thinking maybe half, are going to be homeless. And let's just say a quarter of them, over 500,000, end up moving into their vehicles. And I think that's a very, very low estimate. How do you think 500,000 more people moving into vehicles, some may be concentrated in certain areas, is going to impact other nomads? Just think about it for a minute. If you're a nomad living in a city, you've already seen the changes over the last couple of years. More and more cities have enacted municipal codes that prohibit sleeping in your vehicle. Some even sleeping in your vehicle on your own property. Also, everywhere I'm going in San Diego County, there are signs popping up. No overnight parking. Or they'll do something that's kind of sneaky, but it really has the same effect. They'll say something like no parking from 4 a.m. to 5 a.m. or from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. So basically, that would make you, if you park there, have to get up in the middle of the night and move. And I mean, they are there like minutes after the deadline, handing out tickets. So that basically has the same effect of keeping you from parking overnight. Also, more and more, they're limiting the size of the vehicles that can park in certain areas. And they're doing it in a sneaky way. They'll say no vehicle, for instance, I'm just going to throw this out there, over 20 feet. Well, they're not just talking about 20 feet long. They will add up your length plus your height plus your width. And if those combined are more than 20 feet, you can't park there. So if they're already doing that before an extra, say, 500,000 people are dumped into nomad living, what do you think is going to happen after all those people start living in vehicles? Basically, there are going to be more and more people scrambling for fewer and fewer spots. And cities are really going to crack down on where you can and can't park. And I think it's just going to be devastating for nomads. BLM land is already filling up and dispersed camping spots. And you know, a lot of the people who will be moving into vehicles, they're not going to know any of the etiquette. So they're going to probably on BLM land be parking right up on your campsite. And I mean, it's just going to be a nightmare. That's what I anticipate. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree with me that these new rules that are going to kick people off of Section 8 is going to have a devastating impact on nomads and those living in vehicles. One bright spot for a certain group in this whole situation is seniors, low-income seniors who can no longer afford rent, and disabled folks. With all of the people who are going to be kicked off the program and will no longer be eligible, there may be more slots available for impoverished seniors. And the waits of 8, 10, 12 years even in some areas may be greatly diminished. I don't know if it'll go down to 6 months or less, but it could very well go down to a couple of years instead of 8, 10 years. I don't know. We'll have to see how this plays out. How do you think it's going to play out? Let me know in the comments. But you know what? There's a channel that in my research for this I came across, and he does some really great explanations of a lot of this information. And the channel is called Section 8 Consulting. So I urge you to go on over and check him out. He has been consulting with people, helping them to get Section 8, is my understanding, for decades. So I think he has some information that could be very helpful. Anyhow, let's just see how this all plays out, and let me know if you're a nomad and what you think is going to happen. I will see you down the road, and may your journeys be filled with joy and blessings. I love each and every one of you. Come on over and join us for Glow Live every Saturday at 3 p.m. Pacific, the best group of people online you'll ever encounter. All right, till next time.